nostrils were again full of the tang of Cassian's blood as I pulled on the dark stones of that bone castle. The paintbrush snapped between my fingers. I'd cleaved it in two, the pale handle damaged beyond repair. Cursing under my breath, I glanced to the windows, the doors. This place was too full of watching eyes to risk throwing it in the rubbish bin. I cast my mind around, like an ant, trolling for any others near enough to witness to be spying. I found none. I held my hands before me, one half of the brush in each palm. For a moment, I let myself see past the glamour that concealed the tattoo on my right hand and forearm, the markings of my true heart, my true title. High lady, high lady, high lady, high lady, high lady, high lady of the night court, night court, night. Half a thought had the broken paintbrush going up in flames. The fire did not burn me, even as it devoured wood and brush and paint. When it was nothing but smoke and ash, I invited in a wind that swept them from my bones and out the open windows. For good measure, I summoned a breeze from the garden to sneak through the room, wiping away any lingering tendril of smoke, filling it with the musty, suffocating smell of roses. Perhaps when my task was done, I'd burn this manor to the ground too, starting with those roses. Two approaching processions stopped against the back of my mind, and I snatched up another brush, dipping it in the closest swirl of paint, and lowered the invisible dark snares I had erected around this room to alert me of any visitors I was working on. The way the sunlight illuminated the delicate veins in a rose petal, trying not to think of how I'd once seen it do the same to Lyrian wings. When the doors opened, I made a good show of appearing lost in my work, hunching my shoulders a bit, angling my head, and made even better show of slowly looking over my shoulder as if struggling to part myself from the painting was a true effort up the battle. Was the smile I forced to my mouth, to my eyes, the real tale of smiles of genuine nature. I'd practice in the mirror over and over, so my eyes easily crinkled as I gave subdued yet happy smile to Tamlin, to Lucian. That's how I say his name, by the way. I don't care if I say it wrong. That's how I say it. Sorry to interrupt, Tamlin said, scanning my face for any sign of the shadows I remember to occasionally fall prey to, the ones I wielded to keep him at bay when the sun sank beyond those foothills. But I thought you might want to get ready for the meeting. I made myself swallow, lowered the paintbrush, no more the nervous, unsure girl I had been long ago. You talked it over with Ianthe. She's truly coming. I hadn't seen her yet. The high priestess who betrayed my sisters to Hybern, betrayed us to Hybern. And even if I sensed murky, swift reports through the mating pond as suits some my dread and terror, she was responsible for it. What happened weeks ago? It was Lucian who answered, studying my paintings as if it held the proof I knew he was searching for. Yes, she had her reasons. She is willing to explain them to you, perhaps along with her reasons for laying her hands on whatever. Males she pleased, whether they wished her to or not, for doing it to Lucian. I wondered what Lucian truly made of it, in the fact that the collateral in her friendship with Hybern had wound up being his maid, Elaine. We had not spoken of Elaine save for once the day after I'd returned. Despite what Jane implied regarding how my sisters will be treated by Ryzen, I told him, despite how my sisters will be treated by Ryzen, I already read that. Despite what the night court is like, they won't hurt Elaine or Nesta like that, not yet. Ryzen has more creative ways to harm them. Lucian still seemed to doubt it, but then again, I had also implied in my own gaps of memory that perhaps I had not received the same creativity or courtesy, that they believed it so easily that they thought Ryzen would ever force it. I added the insult to the long Lucian remained leaning against the door across his room. My light's starting to go. I really need a better one. Just relax. Close your eyes. You don't actually have to watch this one. You can just listen. I didn't doubt he'd ensure it. I now stayed across from him. I didn't doubt that the metal eye he possessed was always turned toward my own chambers, even while he slept. I'm surprised you're so calm, given your promises, and Hybern, Lucian said by way of greeting. The promise I'd made to kill the human queen, the king of Hybern, Jury, and Ian, the fraud they'd done to my sisters, to my friends. You yourself said Ian had her reasons. Furious as I might be, I can hear her out. I had not told Lucian of what I knew regarding her true nature. It would mean explaining that Reese had thrown her out of his own home, that Reese had done to defend himself and the members of his court, and it would raise too many questions and remind too many carefully crafted lies that had kept him and his court, my court, safe. Though I wondered if, after Valeris, it was even necessary. Our enemies knew of the city and knew it was a place of good and peace, and had tried to destroy it at the first opportunity. The guilt for the attack on Valeris after Reese had revealed it to those human queens would haunt my maid for the rest of our immortal lives. She's going to spin a story that you'll want to hear, Lucian warned. I shrugged, hitting down the carpet at empty hall. I can decide for myself, though it sounds like you've already chosen not to believe her. He fell into step beside me. She dragged two innocent women into this. She was working to ensure Hybern's alliance held strong. Lucian held me with a hand around my elbow. I allowed it because not allowing it, winnowing the way I'd done in the woods those months ago, or using an alluring defense maneuver to knock him on his butt, would ruin my ruse. You're smarter than that. I studied the broad tan hand wrapped around my elbow. Then I met one of the I froze it in one of whirring gold. Lucian breathed. Where is he keeping her? I knew who he meant. I shook my head. I don't know. Rysand has 100 places where they could be, but I doubt he'd use any of them tidily, knowing that I'm aware of them. Tell me anyway, list all of them. You'll die the moment you set foot in his territory. I survived well enough when I found you. You couldn't see that he had me in a thrall. You let him take me back. Lie. But the hurt and kill I expected weren't there. Lucian slowly released his grip. I need to find her. You don't even know Elaine. The mating bond is just a physical reaction, overriding your good sense. Is that what it did to you and Reese? A quiet, dangerous question, but I made fear enter my eyes. Let myself drag up memories of the weaver, the carver, the Midgard whim, so that old terror drenched my scent. I don't want to talk about that, I said, my voice rasping. A wobble. A clock chimed at the main level. I sat in silent prayer of thanks to the mother and launched into a quick walk. We'll be late. Lucian only nodded, but I felt his gaze on my back, fixed right in my spine as I headed downstairs to see Ian. It at last decided I was going to shred her into pieces. The high priestess looked exactly as I remembered, both in those memories Reese had shown me, and in my own daydreamings of using the talons beneath my nails to carve out her eyes, then her tongue, then open up her throat. My rage had become a living thing inside my chest, an echoing heartbeat that soothed me to sleep and stirred me to waking. I quieted it as I stared at Ian across the formal dining table. Tamlin and Lucian flanking me. She still wore the pale-headed silver circlet set in its limpid blue stone. Like a siphon, the jewel at the center reminded me of Azrael's and Cassian's siphons, and I wondered if, like the Illyrian warriors, the jewel somehow helped shaped an unwieldy gift of magic into something more refined, deadlier. She had never removed it, but then again, I had never seen Ian summon any greater power than igniting a ball of white light in a room. The high priestess lowered her teal eyes to the dark wood table, the hood casting shadows on her perfect face. I wished to begin by saying how truly sorry I am. I acted out of desire to grant what I believed you perhaps yearned for, but did not dare voice, while also keeping